Joined once again by TSN Director of Scouting Craig Button, and for the purposes of this conversation only, our goalie apologist, Marty Biron. Gentlemen, of football running backs in the NFL aren't getting drafted as early or as often, and they're struggling to get the big bucks like the backs of the past. Can you draw a parallel between the NHL goalies and the NFL running backs, Craig?
Here's the parallels I draw to it. You know, in football, the quarterback and the linemen have to be paid so much, and the wide receivers, because the game is opened up so much. I think in the NHL, the parallel with the goaltenders is that, you know, the game is opened up so much, and now the shooters have gained an advantage. So what now ends up happening is that playing defense and playing in front of the goaltender has become more of the focus for NHL teams. So now they're looking at it and going, okay, how good does our goaltender have to be? You need a good goaltender, don't get me wrong here. But do we have to spend the draft capital? Do we have to spend the money on a goaltender if we do not have the players in front of them? You can have the greatest quarterback on the planet. If you don't have an offensive line that can block, it doesn't matter. And it's the same thing for a running back. And you also have running backs coming out of college that are ready, and the value of what you have to pay the quarterback and the offensive lineman, wide receivers, you know, you can get, with the cap being so much, now you can get a running back coming out of college or somebody like that that can go that. I think that's where the goaltending parallel to running backs runs hand in hand.
Marty?
Well, first of all, I want the goalies to get their money. I want the goalies to get paid. They're the most important players, most important position on a team. But the way that I see similarities is that running backs and goaltenders are one-dimensional, right? Like, running backs don't play defense. None of the football players can play both sides of the ball. But in hockey, Connor McDavid can impact the game offensively and defensively. Austin Matthews can impact the game offensively and defensively. Goalies don't do that. They only can impact the game by stopping pucks, defensive type of aspect of the game. So for that reason, I understand that maybe there's some value there. The other part is that they don't play every game. So the running backs can play all 17 games in the NFL. Goalies cannot play 82 games. So if maybe the goalie value would be 12, 13, 14 million to your game, but you take 20% off of that, all of a sudden you're looking at 8 million, 7 million. And we see more goalies in that range. So I think for that factor alone, the fact that they don't play every game, that's where you see a reduced value when it comes to goaltenders.
But it's the same argument that the NFL is making, the running backs are making. We're not getting paid our money. There's a reason you're not getting paid the money is because you're replaceable. Yeah. Like I'm not saying that they don't deserve the money, but when you're replaceable,
there's somebody who can take your spot.
Well, not only take your spot, but you're saying, wait a second here, good defensive play is going to be more important for our goaltending than just a goaltender bailing out on our defense. And that's where the economics have come into play, both the NFL and in hockey.
Christian McCaffrey's the exception to the rule in the NFL. An early pick, getting paid like an MVP candidate. Marty, who's a goalie that could become an exception to the rule in the NHL when it's time to sign a new contract?
Well, you got to look at age, right? You can't be 29, 30, 31 and sign a new contract. I thought maybe Tashadenko would be that guy, but he's too old to get the big money now. He's later in his career, even though he's still young. But Jeremy Swayman may be that exception for me. When you look at Swayman, his age, his value, I mean, he's 25 years old. He signed a one-year deal, so be open to, you know, a long-term deal next summer. But again, it's not going to be the 8 years, $10.5 million that maybe he would be getting if he had had the same performance as a forward or as a top-end defenseman. So when you look at past contracts that are worth that much, maybe it didn't pan out the way teams wanted to, so they're staying away. Maybe Bobrovsky didn't pan out the same way at 10.5. Maybe Carey Price didn't pan out the same way at 11 million more. So you're looking at it, you say, okay, we're staying away from that. But Jeremy Swayman would be the guy that I would invest heavily if I was looking forward.
Yeah, and with the cap going up, you know, and the Boston Bruins being able to keep their defenders in front of Jeremy Swayman, that makes total sense. Jeremy's a top-notch goaltender, and I think that, but keep in mind that a goaltender without the defense in front of him, without the structure in front of him, we saw it in Vegas last year. Those 6 defensemen were so good. So Aiden Hill, Logan Thompson, Laurent Brossoit could go in there and just do what they were asked to do because they were protected to a certain extent. I don't care how good you are. If a goaltender isn't protected to a certain extent defensively, you're in trouble. I don't care if your name's Vasilevsky or it's Bobrovsky, you're in trouble.
I'll tell you what, the highest paid...
Well, yeah, Dominic. Well, Dominic's a different animal.
Dominic's
like, I mean,
completely different on many different levels. Of all the highest paid active players in the entire NHL, only 2 are goalies: Sergei Bobrovsky of the Panthers and Andrei Vasilevsky of the Lightning.